but what they're really announcing here, this tabless cell, they're on the cusp of commercializing this new battery technology. I think it's super, super exciting. Lived up to basically everything I was expecting. And although it's not really new products today that are going to come out from this, the fact that they have this battery division and what it's going to lead to 2 to 3 years down the road is going to be a game changer for the whole EV industry.
Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Gali, Rick Newman here. Tesla had a battery day. This is not their first battery day. They had one in 2015. And I think back then
they've never had a battery day other than this.
They've had other battery announcements. And I think they said in 2015 that by 2017, they were going to have a 620-mile battery. And they
never did.
Don't have that yet.
They never did. They said they were the Roadster is supposed to have a 600-mile battery, but, they're focusing on building the Model 3 and more important stuff now. And, think about it. Nobody's driving 600 miles.
Let me ask the question more generally, Len, so we don't have to argue about these specifics. I mean, Elon Musk has promised many times. Does the timing not matter to you? Does the number not matter to you? Whether it's the range he says he's going to get, the date by which he's going to deliver the car. I mean, he's now promising a $25,000 car, but he hasn't really delivered the $35,000 car he said the Model 3 was going to be. That goes for more like $50,000.
Well, you can still get the 35,000. It's just nobody buys it. And there's, the BMW i3 starts at 35, but the average price is 50 grand. They're delivering the Model 3. They're hitting 25% margins. They're doing everything they said they would. They've been profitable for 4 quarters in a row in a pandemic. Was there a question there? It's like, dude, they've never had a battery day in the past. They announced the Roadster that it would come out in the future. It still will come out. They didn't say it was going to have 600 miles of range and it didn't come out. That just didn't happen.
Well, do dates matter or do they not matter? Is it just
Tesla said that they were going to be building 500,000 cars a year in 2014 when they built the Gigafactory. And guess how many cars they're going to build this year? 500,000. That is so much more on track than every other auto company. The fact that you guys can't do your homework and figure that shit out is embarrassing.
Well, Gali, we're going to try to keep it PG here. We're not.
Yeah, we will. But I'm like, guys, we should know we only had one battery day. That's
but about the 25,000 car, let's just talk about that because that was one of the big takeaways from the announcement. This new, cheaper model, the fact that it has the potential for the company to really access a larger market. We can debate the timeline of this, but what is the opportunity? How big of an opportunity do you think that could potentially be for Tesla down the road?
There's no timeline to debate because they didn't promise a timeline. They're just saying we've scaled this battery technology. Now we're bringing the cell production in-house. We have all these unbelievable technological improvements that we're bringing to market that allow us to decrease the cost per kilowatt hour by 56%. The cost of the battery is 10 grand in the car. They decrease that by 50%. That means it goes from 10 grand to 5 grand. They can make other improvements in the manufacturing process, like that unibody assembly, cell to pack. They don't have modules. You should check out the thread that Sam Corris from ARC Research did. He's calculating this $25,000 car could potentially have a 90 kilowatt hour pack and have 400 miles of range at a $25,000 car that's going to be autonomous. This is going to be the product that potentially generate tens of billions in operating cash flow and earnings if this actually happens in 2 to 3 years. This is the holy grail. Nothing else with Tesla matters. If you're buying it at 500 billion, you need all of us to be driving around in robo-taxis, going from, our friend's house to the bar, to work, to back and forth. We use Amazon every day. It's worth a trill. We all have Apple smartphones is worth a trill. If Tesla's going to be worth a trill, it's going to be taking us everywhere. And the car that's going to be doing it is that $25,000 Model 2. And that is what this new battery cell is going to unlock. Or this new battery division is really what it is this, R&D center that they have there in Fremont with the world's best engineers that are really bringing and scaling this mass market battery technology. And there's a reason why GM and Ford, nobody else can come up with a $25,000 car with these specs because they don't have the battery technology. And so that's what today was. It was all about showing Tesla investors, here's what we're up to. Here's the R&D lab. Here's why we're spending so much money on this. Here's what we're going to come up with that's pushing the industry 10 times ahead. They announced cathode production. What normally happens is you mine a rock out of the ground, then you send it to China to turn it into all these powders and then a cathode thing. Then they send it back to the plant in Nevada where Panasonic turns it into a cell. Then they turn it into a cell and they ship it to Fremont, California, put that cell in a car. Then sometimes they're shipping that car back to China. That little piece of sand that went in the battery went around the world 6 times before you got your car. This is just how batteries and EVs work. Tesla's going to change that. They're going to have a mine on site. They have a cathode mine on site that I went to yesterday, and they're building the cell there, all on site. This is so 10 steps ahead of it. Not even
Hey guys, I want to just add one thing, Gali, since you questioned my credibility on my knowledge of Tesla. So I'm looking at a TechCrunch story from 2015. Elon Musk says Tesla cars will reach 620 miles on a single charge, quote, within a year or two, and they will be fully autonomous in, quote, 3 years. None of those things has happened. We're not near any of that. So you can have as much faith.
I don't have time for this, bro.
I could point by point go through and point to many claims Elon Musk made that have simply not turned out to be true.
All right, Gali, founder and CEO of Hyperchain.